Okay, so welcome to CC Friday episode 120. Today's session is a learning sharing session by Shirin Ma'am and Anand sir from DPS Nashik. They recently attended a workshop at IIT Gandhinagar for their respective subjects. In this session, they will share their key learnings from the workshop. They will also show us how they are using these ideas in their regular classroom practices to make learning more engaging, meaningful, and effective. We request everyone to please be ready with the materials for the activity. Kindly stay attentive, keep your camera on, and participate actively. If you have any questions during the session, please use raise hand feature. Now, over to you, Shireen Ma'am and Anand sir. We look forward to learning from you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you, ma'am.
Swarajya.
Thank you, ma'am.
Joined everyone, and thank you so much for joining in for the session. So today, basically, I'm here to share my learning experience at IIT Gandhinagar as well as my classroom experiences after attending this session at IIT Gandhinagar. This session was basically focused on the concept of microscale chemistry workshop, right? Now, when we'll be taking you through this learning experiences and also the ideas which we actually implemented in the teachers workshop as well as in our classrooms, the focus of microscale chemistry workshop today is not just to look at the activities, learn them and replicate them, but to understand the concept of microscale and create our own activities in our classroom. Right, we know our classroom well, so we'll be more than capable of creating our own activities, just learning the concept of microscale, and then depending upon our classroom needs, we create our own activities as per our class needs. All right, so next slide please. These are some pictures from the workshop. Yes. So the core idea of microscale chemistry, next slide, is very powerful. It has the power of transforming our classroom into the very functional labs. So here, instead of very, bulky apparatus and large quantity of chemicals, here we are working with just drops, micro quantities of the chemicals, and very much household scale tools. And this shift changes not just the logistics, but also the pedagogy. So the focus moves basically from the teacher demonstrations to the student participation. So before we move to the next slide, there are science teachers, math teachers in the session also. So I would like to ask you, what are the major challenges that we face when we take our students to labs for experiments, for demonstration, or for practicals? What are the challenges that we face? You can raise hand to answer, or you can just write in the chat box. What are the challenges that we face when we have to take our students to lab?
Discipline, Shane ma'am.
Discipline, time for the class. uh, yes, time management, major issue, because we have to complete the syllabus, and for every activity, if we have to take them to the lab, it is just that we are able to take them to the lab, and then we are just able to do the demonstration mostly. Yes, discipline, major issue. Very good point, ensuring that each student is able to observe and handle the apparatus. That is the major challenge, wherein we claim that we are trying to reach each and every child. Preparation time, yes. Every time we go to the lab, we have to prepare the setup. Very true. And every time, say for example, if I'm teaching class section A, I have to do the separate preparation. The section B teacher, section C teacher has to do the same preparation again and again. So these are the major challenges. Very true. It's very much connecting to hear from the teachers who are actually facing the similar challenges that we do here. Next slide, please, ma'am. Yes, so these are the challenges that we face. Sometimes lab access is also a challenge, because there are multiple teachers who want to take the classes to the labs, and then we have limited access to the lab. Time management due to syllabus completion, expensive equipments. We generally face the breakage of equipments when we have a class of 14 lab. Then risky chemicals, safety concern. Risky chemicals, when we are specifically taking the lower grades to the lab to give them the experience of experiments. And passive student observation. Rightly somebody mentioned over here that ensuring that each child is participating. And micro scale, how does micro scale bring about the solution? Here, we are doing the classroom experiments. We are bringing the lab to the class. We are bringing the experiments to the class. Very minimum material is involved. Maximum learning is happening. Safer handling with smaller quantities of chemicals, and every student can get a hands-on learning experience. How? That we will see ahead. Yes, ma'am. These were some concepts we selected, and we created the tools for, and we experimented them here in classrooms along with teachers. We got their feedbacks also, and we also experimented this with students. So, like chemical reaction, displacement, double displacement reaction, the concept of corrosion, electrochemistry, and polarity and solubility. Yes, ma'am. Okay. When it comes to microscale chemistry, so the major question over here is how? How do we bring the lab to the class? How do we bring, if it is about chemistry, if it is about science, apparatuses are involved, chemicals are definitely going to be involved, right? Then how are we bringing these materials to the class? Right? So these are some optional solutions. These are some transformation tools for these chemicals and apparatus in the classroom. So if you can see the drop bottles over here, these drop bottles can be used for the liquid chemicals that we are using for the experiment. These are small plastic droppers that can be used. Everybody is aware of homeopathy bottles, the smaller homeopathy bottles that can be used for any solid chemicals, any salts that you want to take to the lab. Next. Yes, spatula. How do we take these chemicals? If they are solid state chemicals, then we just cut the last edge of the straws, plastic straws, in a slanting way, and this can work as a spatula. This can work as a small spatula for these chemicals. Then Ziploc bags, whatever material you are preparing as a toolkit for that particular experiment, can be enclosed in a Ziploc bag, and that becomes one single kit for one group. So if I'm having 4-5 liquid chemicals, I pack them in drop bottles, keep it in the Ziploc bag. One straw, one 2-3 homeopathy bottles which are carrying the solid chemicals, then smaller metal pieces. So everything enclosed in one Ziploc bags. So basically you're carrying just 5 Ziploc bags to the classroom, and basically you're actually carrying the whole laboratory into the classroom relating to that particular experiment. Yes, ma'am. Next, we will see how it works. So one concept that we had selected was metal displacement reaction. So there must be chemistry teachers here in the session. So I would like to ask you, how do we do some hands-on activity or experimentation relating to displacement reaction in lab? Do we have chemistry teachers here in the session? What experiment, what activities are we doing for displacement reaction? Iron nail in copper sulfate solution. Yes. And where do we take them to do this experimentation? Are we, allowing each student to do this experiment, or we are just doing one demonstration in the classroom or in laboratory? Demo in lab, mostly. Yes. And sometimes we also take, some selective chemicals and apparatus to the classroom also. We do the classroom demonstration also, wherein hardly we are able to demonstrate one or two reactions, and they're just able to see or observe these reactions. Or if the teacher wants to give hands-on learning experience, the teacher takes the class of 40 to the lab and then allow them to do that experiment over there. But the major problem here is safety concern, maintaining the discipline. There's chaos in the lab. So how can we manage both, giving hands-on learning experience to each child and ensuring that the teacher and student both do not face any problem? For such activities, it does not mean that we are not taking them to the lab. We definitely have to take them to the lab for different learning experiences. But for such activities, we can plan a micro scale solution. Can you go to the next slide? Yes. Now, this experimentation I have done with these classes in two different scenarios. You can see one wherein they're doing the displacement, double displacement reactions in laboratory, right? Here you can see students all over the lab. They're doing different activities. They're accessing different chemicals, and it was a little difficult for me to keep a check on who is using which chemical and all that stuff, and there were other concentrated acids also kept in lab, so it was difficult to manage a little. And you can see the different scene where students are sitting on the table and they are handling all the chemicals and apparatus, the material that is given to them. In the next slide we have a video where you can see the classroom setup. Yes, ma'am. Yes. So during this activity, basically, I created a laminated sheet with this, experiment setup written on it. So whatever liquid chemicals they were using, the sheet was not spoiled. They could easily do it. They used this laminated sheet as a work table. Then small pieces of four different metals were given enclosed in a Ziploc bag. Four drop bottles with four different salt solutions were provided. So one kit for one group. They were instructed well about the activity. They were well seated on the places. They were observing the chemicals. They were observing what changes are happening when they were dropping the chemicals on the metal pieces, and very close observations were made. After that, an observation sheet was also given to them, wherein they ma'am, can you please go to the next slide? Here they actually found where the reaction is happening, which metal is able to displace another metal, right? If we have grade 10 teachers here, grade 10 chemistry teacher, they will be able to correlate. This kind of question was asked. It's a previous year boards question, one of the question, wherein which metal is able to displace another metal from its salt solution was asked. So using this activity, we could also cover one of the PYQ in the class, right? So an activity is being done, they're able to access everything, they're able to solve a question, they're able to record the data, and everything was very well done within 40 minutes in the classroom, because everything was ready, they had everything in hand. Similarly, we did the same activity with teachers, a different experience. These were the mixed group of maths and science teachers. So more than science teachers, maths teachers were enjoying. Next. Okay, this is another idea of double displacement reaction. Very simple. This diagram you have to draw and get it laminated. One side in the circle you keep one solid chemical, other side you keep another solid chemical, and in the center you just drop a drop of water. And with the toothpick move both the solids in the center. So slowly the solids dissolve, ions move, and you can see a new substance being formed in the center. So generally students are confused with what precipitate is. So here they'll be able to closely observe what a precipitate is. This activity, not necessary that we do it for grade 10. Ma'am, next slide. These activities we can modify for grade 6, grade 7, lower grades also, wherein the concepts of chemical reactions are involved, chemical changes are involved. So we can simplify these activities and modify them as per our classroom needs, right? So we can show them what are different signs of chemical reaction. We can select a reaction where effervescence, a single drop of acetic acid and baking soda being mixed, and effervescence of CO2 is seen, right? So depending upon our classroom needs, we can modify this activity. Next. Okay, this is another example of similar activity, but the concept of acid bases and indicators was taken. The classroom setup versus micro scale setup. Next. Here you can see they checked with acids, bases, neutral substances, how the color change is seen with phenolphthalein indicator, methyl orange indicator, and litmus indicator. So within one activity, we could introduce 3-4 different indicators. Universal indicator was very exciting for them because in every circle they saw the color change. So a single drop of acid base and a single drop of indicators, they could see the color changes. We will hear it from a student's reflection. Next slide.
Today we did an activity in our classroom which is about acid, bases and salts and indicators as well. For us, as we went, instead of going to the laboratory, we did it in our classroom in our own tables. Actually, in today's activity, we saw that even small drops could make the color change happen in an acid or a base. And my entire group, including me, we all got to do the hands-on activity with us testing the chemicals as well.
This one next. Okay, another concept, another interesting concept, electrolysis. The activity that is being shown on screen, I am sure many of us must have done this activity. It's a very famous activity of electrolysis, where we, provide them, water and small quantity of sodium chloride solution. Sodium chloride. They prepare a solution. 2 pencils sharpened from both the sides, used as electrodes, and a small 9-volt battery was used, and electrolysis process was observed by students very closely, where they can see the effervescence, the bubbles. the gases actually releasing at both the electrodes. And after that, they took out the pencil, they smelled the pencil. One of the pencil was smelling like chlorine. They could identify which electrode chlorine is being released. So this one activity we generally do, but electrolysis in higher grades is always a challenge. So may I know from our chemistry teachers that what challenge do we face in higher grades, specifically in grade 11 and 12, when we introduce electrochemical cells to them? Showing electrolytic cell as an electrolysis process of brine or acidified water, we generally do in lower grades. But what challenges do we face when we go for higher grades, grade 11 and 12, when we introduce electrochemistry? The galvanic cell, what is the challenge? Mostly they're not able to imagine the cell. They're not able to actually recognize the electrodes and the electrode solutions. There are a lot of challenges that we face with galvanic cell, or we have to take them to the lab or bring the galvanic cell, which has a difficult setup, and understanding the setup of the cell becomes a challenge for them, right? Next slide. So bringing in the microscale solution, the galvanic cell was transformed into a simple Petri dish. So we created a galvanic cell in a Petri dish, not just one cell, but in one single Petri dish, 4 half cells we created. So if you can see the setup, there's a Petri dish in which a filter paper or a Whatman paper is used. 4 pieces of different metals are kept on the 4 corners. On each metal piece, the solution of respective metal was dropped using the drop bottle. And in the center, because salt bridge is missing, right? So a single drop of potassium nitrate KNO3 solution was dropped in the center, which was connecting 2 half cells, right? And they recorded the readings. They recorded the potential difference. Here, this activity was also done with teachers. So they recorded the readings, and they also, note down the readings. Can you go to the next slide? Yeah, this is how the setup looks like. The metals with their salt solutions, and in the center, KNO3 working as a salt bridge here. Next. Next. This is how the data was recorded for different half cell combination. Galvanic cell now for creating in the series. The homeopathy bottle settled into a rubber pad were used, and the setup was created. So during this activity, they can, actually record the data. They see the differences of the readings in different half cells which they are creating. And introducing electrochemical cell becomes very, very easy with microscale solution. Next. Another concept that we can introduce, rusting investigation. Now, rusting or corrosion, it's a very common concept, right? From lower grades to higher grades, we have this. So creating the similar laminated sheet using iron nail under different conditions. So one of the iron nail is painted, one is covered in plastic, one is, wrapped in copper foil, one is wrapped in magnesium foil, one, coated with paint. So under different conditions, using a salt solution, which is responsible for rusting, a rusting solution was created, and then single drop of this solution was used, and the students slowly, they observed where the reaction is taking place slow, where the reaction is fast, what are different conditions under which rusting is faster. So many different concepts, ideas relating to rusting can be introduced to them with one single activity in class. Yes, next. So these are different conditions for rusting investigation that I just talked about. Next. Okay. So this was a challenge given to teachers in the activity wherein a blown balloon was given to them, and they were asked to burst the balloon without any application of force. They were not supposed to, touch the balloon, but burst the balloon. So, and then we also had oranges near the activity station, and then some of them could find out using the orange peel, we might be able to burst the balloon. Similar activity was taken with students as well, wherein the concept of polarity was introduced, or the concept of like dissolves like in chemistry, like polar solvents dissolve polar ones, the non-polar. So if you see over here, the structure of balloon, if we see the polymer, it's a non-polar organic compound, and the chemical that is found, that is present in the orange peel, limonene, is also non-polar in nature. So it, as soon as it comes in contact with the rubber, it dissolves the rubber material and the balloon burst, right? So a simple concept of polarity or like dissolves like could be introduced in this way. Yes. Okay, now this was fun activity, but along with fun, there was a lot of learning. Different concepts could be introduced to the students, like surface tension, soap acting as surfactants, role of glycerine, sugar, corn syrup, then the physics concept, light interferences, where light waves reflect from the outer and inner surfaces of the soap bubble. So many different concepts are involved when we talk about a soap bubble. We all have seen soap bubbles. We all have also made the soap solutions for soap bubble at home, but this was a little different with some more chemical components, creating a giant bubble, a big soap bubble. So we have done this activity both with teachers and students. Can we see the video? So here basically they learn about which chemical is responsible for the elasticity of bubble, which chemical is responsible for making it giant, making it glow. So a lot of learning along with fun. Next. So finally, the most important part of microscale chemistry is creating the toolkit. Okay, it is one-time investment first of all, and the tool also need to be created one time. So if I have created this double displacement reaction or displacement reaction toolkit, you can see how it is packed in Ziploc bags, the the electrolysis setup or the displacement reaction setup. And once these 5 Ziploc bags are ready with the laminated sheets, now if it was used by me, it can also be used by the parallel teacher for 4 different classes, and one-time preparation of the toolkit, and can be used by different teachers for the similar activity in different classes. And very easy to prepare these toolkits. If teachers are interested, I'll share the toolkit details later. Yes, Swarali ma'am, I can share the toolkit information later. Yeah. Thank you
Yes,
so much for being patient and listening to me. Now I call Anand sir to continue with igniting maths activities.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Igniting maths curiosity with A4 size paper. Swarali, ma'am, next slide. Oh, thank you. A4 size papers we are using since long, and since we don't know how many sheets we have used and how many sheets we have already destroyed also. The beauty behind A4 size paper we'll see now. Next slide, please. If you see the dimensions of this A4 size paper, the height of this paper is 297 millimeter, and the width is 210 millimeters. 297 मिलीमीटर को राउंड ऑफ करके 300 भी किया जा सकता था. 3 मिलीमीटर बहुत ज्यादा अंतर नहीं होता. डायमेंशन को 297 रखने का एक मैथमेटिकल रीजन है और वही इस पेपर की सबसे बड़ी ब्यूटी है. If we see this paper, I don't know, I hope you all can see this. If you can see this paper, A4 size sheet, now the ratio of this height and this width, if we calculate, it comes around 1.414, and that value is square root of 2. Here we are introducing, we can also introduce that irrational numbers in classroom. Square root of 2, the value gives us as 1.414. That means the ratio of height and width is root 2 is to 1. Now, if we consider this length as 1, if you all have A4 size sheets with you, you can do along with me. ट्रेडिशनल मेथड एक है, एक रेक्टेंगुलर शीट से यदि स्क्वायर कट करना है तो हम सीधा सीधा उसको इस प्रकार से फोल्ड करते हैं और उसको नीचे से फोल्ड करें और उसको कट कर दिए, हमको स्क्वायर कट के मिल जाता है. हमको स्क्वायर इस प्रकार से कट होके मिल जाता है. लेकिन ये अभी जो प्रोसेस हम करने जा रहे हैं वो हर शीट में नहीं होगा. That will only be possible in your A4 sheet only, because the ratio is the beauty of the sheet. इसका लेंथ √2 है, इसका 1 है. यदि मान लीजिए इसको हम 1 यूनिट लेंथ मान के एक स्क्वायर कट करते हैं तो ये भी 1 होगा, ये भी 1 होगा. उस कंडीशन में इसके डायगोनल का लेंथ मैथमेटिकली कैलकुलेट करते हैं मैथ्स टीचर्स, वो अपने को √2 मिलता है और इसका लेंथ भी √2 है. अभी हम करते क्या है, इस शीट को ये एक कॉर्नर से हम इस प्रकार से फोल्ड करें, ऐसे फोल्ड करें कि ये कॉर्नर इस एज को टच करे. यहां इस कॉर्नर से हम फोल्ड करें ऐसे कि ये इस एज को टच करे. यहां पर एक मार्क लगा लीजिए. अब इसका लेंथ √2 है तो यहां से अब हम फोल्ड करके ऐसे बनाते हैं स्क्वायर, तो ये परफेक्ट स्क्वायर बनेगा. अब ये परफेक्ट स्क्वायर जो बन रहा है, दैट इज ओनली बिकॉज the ratio of that height and width is √2 and 1. A4 साइज पेपर्स के अलग अलग साइजेस अपन ने सुने होंगे. उस साइज में यदि हम आगे देखें, 2 A4 साइज शीट्स को आप एक साथ यदि ऐसे जोड़ देते हैं, 2 A4 शीट्स को ऐसे एक साथ जोड़ते हैं, ये हो जाता है A3. और ऐसे 2 A3 शीट्स को ऐसे आजू बाजू हम जोड़ें, वो हो जाता है A2. और A2 का डबल हो जाता है A1 और A1 का डबल होता है A0. इसको फर्दर और हम डबल करें A0 को, नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज, उसका साइज हो जाता है B0 और उसका फिर डबल करते हैं C0. और ये शीट जितने भी शीट्स हैं इन सब में हाइट और विड्थ का जब रेशियो अपन लेंगे, दैट कम्स टू √2 is to 1. नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज. A4 शीट, नाउ A4 शीट का ही ये पूरा A सीरीज का सारा शीट है, A0, A1 till A10. The dimensions of that sheets are given here. Next slide, please. Now we can connect this to ratio and proportion in class. As we are finding the ratio of height and width, we can also connect with irrational numbers when we are introducing in grade 9 or 10. Geometrical symmetry can be seen, that we'll do further in the next activity. Next slide, please. Single cut activity. Now we are having so many single cut activity using this A4 sheet paper. एक हमको टास्क दिया गया था सिंपली कि एक A4 साइज का पेपर ले लीजिए और इसमें कितना बड़ा होल करेंगे मैक्सिमम. तो सबका अपना अपना दिमाग चला. एक दो लोग जो जानते थे उन लोगों ने करके दिखाया. लेकिन अजय सर दिखा.
Ajay sir, you can pin Anand sir's screen.
तो उसका एक पैटर्न ये बताया गया कि एक A4 साइज का शीट को ले लें और इसको इस प्रकार से फोल्ड कर दें सिंपली। इसको इस प्रकार से फोल्ड करने के बाद इसमें कट्स कुछ इस प्रकार का लगाएं। अभी इसमें आप देखें तो एक कट ऊपर से लगा, एक कट नीचे से, ऐसे पूरे पेपर में हम इस प्रकार से कट लगा देते हैं। और ये बीच का जो पार्ट है, ऊपर का पार्ट को आप छोड़ दीजिए, सबसे ऊपर का पार्ट। उसके बाद ये नीचे के सारे पार्ट्स को हम ऐसे खोलते हैं। यदि आई होप आप लोग को दिख रहा होगा, तो आपको रिजल्ट कुछ ऐसा मिलेगा। ये कुछ इस प्रकार से आपको बड़ा एक रिंग बन के मिलेगा। अभी यहाँ पर इसके स्ट्रिप्स का विड्थ यदि आप देखें तो काफी विड्थ है इसका। इसको जितना पतला आप कट करेंगे स्ट्रिप्स को, उतना बड़ा रिंग बन के मिलेगा। कुछ बच्चों ने क्लास में किया है, हम टीचर्स ने किया है, वो एक्टिविटीज के इमेजेस हैं इसमें। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज। अच्छा, कुछ एक्टिविटीज ऐसे, अभी रहने दीजिए। मैं एक A4 साइज के स्ट्रिप्स को मैं बोला था कि यदि पॉसिबल हो तो लेके रखें। ऐसे स्ट्रिप्स यदि हम कट करके रखे हैं तो आप साथ में एक्टिविटीज कर सकते हैं। इसको यदि हम सिंपली ऐसे करके सीधा सीधा इसको ऐसे स्टिक कर देते हैं तो हमको कुछ इस प्रकार का रिंग मिलता है। इसमें जाने के पहले इसको यदि हम देखें तो इसमें दो सरफेस है, एक सरफेस ये, एक इधर, 4 एडजेस हैं। लेकिन जब हम स्टिक करते हैं इसमें सरफेस तो 2 है अंदर बाहर, लेकिन एडजेस 4 की जगह इसमें 2 हो जा रहे हैं। उसी स्ट्रिप को यदि हम एक ट्विस्ट करके यदि स्टिक करते हैं, हम इसको ऐसा लेके आए, फिर इसको एक ट्विस्ट कर दें और ऐसे स्टिक कर देते हैं, तो इसमें एक अलग ब्यूटी हमको ये दिखती है। वो कुछ इस प्रकार का रिजल्ट अपने को मिलता है। इनको यदि हम कट करते हैं, इनको यदि हम कट करें तो इसको अपन कट करेंगे तो हमको 2 सीधा सीधा रिंग मिल जाता है। We are getting 2 simple rings, whereas in this if we cut, we are getting only 1 ring. ये मैं एक्टिविटी कराने के लिए कट नहीं किया था।
आनंद सर थोड़ा सा मूव अप करके करेंगे ना तो इट विल बी विजिबल टू एवरीवन।
हाँ, वो कटिंग कर रहा था मैं। उसको हमने कुछ नहीं किया है, उसके बीच से हमने एक सर्कल में कट कर दिया इसको। इसमें एक बात ये है कि यदि हम इसको देखें, आप यहां से ऐसे फिंगर चलाते जाइए तो आप इसमें ये पाएंगे कि इसमें सरफेस 2 नहीं, एक ही सरफेस है। और ये एज से आप ऐसे उंगली चलाते जाएंगे ऐसे, तो आप ये पाएंगे वापस उंगली आपकी उसी जगह पर आ गई जहां से स्टार्ट किया था आपने। तो इसमें एज भी एक ही है, सरफेस भी एक ही है। दिखने के लिए ये रिंग दिख रहा है, लेकिन इसमें सरफेस और एज जो है वो एक ही है। नेक्स्ट एक एक्टिविटी है जो कुछ 2 स्ट्रिप्स को हम इस प्रकार से स्टिक करके दी रखते हैं। अब इसमें हम क्या कर रहे हैं, एक स्ट्रिप को इस प्रकार से फोल्ड किया, ऊपर एक रिंग बना, सिमिलरली दूसरा स्ट्रिप को नीचे फोल्ड किए इस प्रकार से, तो ये हमको रिजल्ट कुछ इस प्रकार से मिलता है। ये 2 सर्कल्स है जिसको हम इस प्रकार से स्टिक किए। अब इसको कट करते हैं तो देखते हैं इसका रिजल्ट क्या हमको मिलता है। था वो सर्कल्स, लेकिन कट करते हैं तो हमको यहाँ पर स्क्वायर मिल रहा है। तो ऐसे ही कुछ और भी हैं। तो हमको वहां पर एक क्वेश्चन ये था कि सर यदि मान लीजिए हम इसको ट्विस्ट ऐसा करें कि इसको क्लॉकवाइज कर दें, इसको एंटी क्लॉकवाइज कर दें, या दोनों को क्लॉकवाइज करें। बोले करके देखिए आप लोग। तो वहां पर हमारे पास बहुत सारी चीजें थी एक्सप्लोर करने के लिए। हमको सिर्फ छोड़ दिया गया था ये बोल के कि आपके दिमाग में जो आता है आप अपना दिमाग दौड़ाओ और करो। पूरा लैब खुला है, आपको जो सामान यूज करना है करिए। अच्छा बने तो ठीक, बुरा बने तो ठीक, वेस्ट कीजिए, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, लेकिन हम सिखाएंगे नहीं आपको। यू लर्न एट योर ओन, गो एंड एक्सप्लोर एवरीथिंग। मैम नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज। Now here we are having one single, ये वीडियो को थोड़ा सा ध्यान से देखेंगे। इसमें देखिए ट्राइंगल बना हुआ है और इसको फोल्ड इस तरीके से किया जा रहा है कि एक कट करके हम वो ट्राइंगल को बाहर कर सकें। एक कट मतलब फोल्ड हम ऐसे घुमा नहीं सकते कैंची को, एक सीधा कट आपको करना है जैसे कि वीडियो में है। तो ये बेसिकली डिपेंड करता है लाइन ऑफ सिमेट्री पे। जो बच्चे लोग क्लास 3rd 4th में पढ़ते हैं, कलर करना, मिरर इमेज फॉर्म करना, कुछ उनके बुक्स में रहते हैं। क्लास 4th में पढ़ने के बाद पूरे एजुकेशन में इनका स्कूल कॉलेज निपटता है, तब तक इसका कहीं यूज अलग से यूज नहीं है, लेकिन इसका एप्लीकेशन है कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम्स में। जब हम रीजनिंग के क्वेश्चंस सॉल्व करते हैं तो उसमें 3 फिगर्स रहता है, व्हाट विल बी द 4th वन, तो वो सिमेट्री के ऊपर ही पूरा का पूरा डिपेंड रहता है। तो ये कॉन्सेप्ट उनको ब्रेनस्टॉर्म करता है कि हम उस चीज को वापस ऐसे सीखने के लिए दिखे, तो उनको वो सिर्फ सिमेट्री करेंगे, वो फोल्ड करेंगे, उनको लगेगा ये ठीक नहीं है, अगेन दे विल चेंज द फोल्ड। तो ये उनके दिमाग में चलता रहेगा, लेकिन वो एक्टिविटी करेंगे तो वो ब्रेनस्टॉर्म होने के लिए हेल्पफुल है। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज। Now you can see those two. First figure, triangle is there, line of symmetry, along the line of symmetry we have folded that. And in the second image, you can see one line, slightly it is looking. Along that line, if we cut, we can remove that triangle in one single cut. Next slide, please. These are few more shapes that were given to us. Try on this also, how we can fold these figures and we can remove that in one single cut. Next slide. Now this is also a single cut activity. Now the left hand side image, you have to fold in such a way that, and we have to remove all the black boxes in one single cut. And that is the result in the second image. Next slide, please. Now paper folding is it is the game of symmetry. Next slide. Now here also, here 3 images are there. In the first image, you can see 3 types of boxes are there. One, it is totally black. One, it is white, and another part is designed part. Now we have to fold this in such a way that all the designed part will be hidden, and one side it will be totally black squares and another side it will be white squares. ये शीट हमने बच्चों को दिया था। जो बच्चे लोग करते हैं वो फोल्ड करते हैं, उनको लगता है नहीं ये ऐसा नहीं है, तो वो लाइन ऑफ सिमेट्री पर ही उन लोग पूरा का पूरा काम कर रहे हैं। हाउ दे कैन हाइड ऑल दोज डिजाइन्ड बॉक्सेस बिहाइंड बोथ दिस। कट नहीं करना है इसको, सिर्फ हमको हाइड करना है फोल्ड करके। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज। ये कुछ और है जिसका रिजल्ट यहाँ पर है। Next slide, please. These are few more designs we are having. Now here, students can identify the line of symmetry. Learner are mentally visualize how the paper will look like after every fold. They fold that paper and they predict final layout, the layout of the black and the black squares. They will just fold and unfold, and they try to come out with the result what they want. Sometimes they after folding they will test their ideas and again they adjust their approach how to fold. So this is the game of the paper folding activity. Next slide please. Strip cutting activity. Next slide. Now these are the strips what we have already done. Now, in the strip cutting activity, we can geometrically represent, explain students about how the surfaces are being changed, why they are changing from 2 surface to 1 surface. Now, these all can be asked to them, and after they reflect their logical thinking, then we can explain why it is happening in such a way. Next slide, please. Next slide. Activity session. Now this is the activity session we already had with the teachers in school and the teachers who did in classroom. These are some glimpses of that. Next slide, ma'am. Now this is the ring what students had made. Now this is the class activity they are doing of paper cutting, strips cutting paper. Next slide, please. These are the images of that activity conducted in the class. Now this is the ring, that is the square made by the students. Next slide. Now this is the reflection of the students after the activity.
So today we are explaining the activities done by us with the A4 size paper. We had cut strips out of it and made rings and tried to make a pattern out of it. So this is the activity which I have did. So this activity teaches me it improves the skills like critical thinking, creativity and logical thinking. And too similarly, I had taken one paper and A4 size paper and I had made one pattern of like square and also a triangle. So we can cut it out. It has a single line, so we can cut it and like this.
एक सेकंड के लिए ना अभी when we are going through the routine classes, now the thing is that when we should conduct this activity. We are having our lectures, we are having our syllabus to be completed, revision, everything is there. In between that, in which class and where to conduct. कोई भी क्लास में कराया जा सकता है इसको, क्लास 3rd, 4th, 5th, एनी क्लास. प्रॉक्सी में यदि हम गए कुछ नहीं, 4 A4 साइज के पेपर क्लास में लेके चले गए एंड वी कैन डिस्ट्रीब्यूट दैट टू स्टूडेंट. और ये पेपर्स ऐसे भी नहीं है कि जो जरूरत के हैं, ये वेस्ट वाले सारे पेपर्स हैं जो हम स्कूल से इकट्ठा कर लेते हैं. जहां वेस्ट हुआ वो इकट्ठा करके रख लिए. 4-6 शीट लेकर जाते हैं. बहुत सारा नहीं भी हुआ तो 4 बच्चों का ग्रुप बनाकर एक्टिविटी को कंडक्ट करा सकते हैं. तो वो बच्चे लोग का थोड़ा सा टाइम यूटिलाइज हो जाता है पॉजिटिवली. मैं खाली जाकर क्लास में प्रॉक्सी में बैठा रहा हूं क्योंकि मेरा सब्जेक्ट नहीं है और मैं उस क्लास में पढ़ाता नहीं, तो कर सकते हैं. और ये कोई भी टीचर कर सकते हैं, जरूरी नहीं कि मैं मैथ्स वाला हूं तो ही जाकर करूं. कोई भी जाके कर सकते हैं इन एक्टिविटीज को. नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज. Now, apart from this A4 size paper and mathematical things, we had some hands-on activities also. This is balloon buzz pipe activity. One video is there. I want you all to listen that video very carefully. One question I'll be asking after that. थोड़ा सा ध्यान से सुनिए, उसके बाद डिस्कस करते हैं. अब ये क्वेश्चन यहाँ ये है कि apparatus दोनों के पास सेम है, बनाया दोनों टीचर ने, सबको दे दिया गया था हैंड्स ऑन एक्टिविटी के लिए. अगेन यू कैन लिसन. थोड़ा सा ध्यान से सुनिए, उसके बाद डिस्कस करते हैं. बेलून वही है, पाइप वही है, बनाने का तरीका वही है, लेकिन साउंड में अंतर है. दैट इज ओनली बिकॉज ऑफ द लेंथ ऑफ द पाइप. जहां पर पाइप का लेंथ ज्यादा हो रहा है वहां पर उसका साउंड की इंटेंसिटी जो है वो थोड़ी कम हो जा रही है. In the second case, if you see, the length of the pipe is small, so the intensity of the sound is more. Next slide, please. Now this we can relate with physics, where the pitch of the sound is more when we are taking longer pipe length. Pipe length is long and pipe length is small. At that time, the pitch of the sound is higher. And also we can correlate this with the length of the pipes we can measure, and we can even include with the measurement in mathematics. They develop. Now students will compare this different sound and compare the length of the pipe, and with that they can differentiate the things.
Sir, I want to ask one question.
Yes, ma'am.
Intensity is inversely proportional to the frequency, sir?
I don't think.
What is the relation between intensity and frequency? Because the
Intensity,
first pipe, yes, sir.
ma'am, frequency, any physics teacher can help me? शिवम सर यदि हैं आप? I'll let you know.
Yeah, ma'am. I can help you, ma'am.
Amit sir, please.
Hello, ma'am.
Ma'am, it is related to frequency actually. When we increase the length of the pipe, the frequency decreases. So that's why the sound becomes shrill when the pipe, the size of the pipe is what becomes small.
Actually, it is also related to resonance when the air is blowing through the pipe. So the length of the pipe also creates a node and antinode there. So that is also one concept which can be incorporated to understand this. But they need to understand previously what is resonance and how does node and antinode take place.
Thank you, Shivam sir. Amit sir, thank you so much. Next slide, please. Now, this was the activity conducted in the school among the teachers' workshop.
Jai Hind everyone, this is
That was the glimpse of the workshop. Next slide, please.
Jai Hind everyone, this
This is
is
a reflection given by teacher Bharti ma'am.
Jai Hind everyone, this is Bharti from Delhi Public School, Nasik, and here I just want to share the reflections of math and science activities conducted by Shireen ma'am and Anand sir on this Saturday. And when we were told that there is a training or activity session, and we were like, Saturday ka time jayega. But believe me, when we attended this session, every activity we enjoyed like small children. Very especially the instruction given by both of them were so simple, and we all had fun all together. We were behaving like small children because the activities were so beautiful, and every activity had some learning also. Like they taught us about science, how physics and sounds go together. Then also first time I did experiments with magnesium sulfate, copper sulfate with the observation sheets they had given. We could literally touch the metals, copper and zinc and iron, and we were having those experiments. And the main highlight was the groups were made, like there were 2 science teacher and 2 maths teacher. So that was a fantastic idea. Then they also taught us symmetry, and my concern was what about grade 3 to 5 maths? But thank you Anand sir, because he also gave us beautiful activities that we could conduct. After the session we conducted those activities like symmetry, how children can just cut the symmetry shapes in one line, and very surprisingly you will be seeing that everything in the session with just a A4 size paper. He taught us how to make a hole so that one elephant can enter in it. So that hole became a size of a full wall. And first time I came to know about there is a why it is called as A4 size paper. Not only A4, then A3, A2, A1, A0, B0, C0. So believe me, the session was wonderful. Every moment what was it was fun learning and something new learning about science things and math things also. So I enjoyed, along with me all the teachers enjoyed, and I hope we all will enjoy together. Thank you everyone.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Next slide, please. These are the few glimpses apart from the things what we have done there. Different activities I could also learn about laser cutting, how laser cutting is to be done. That also we have learned in late night. Just these are the few glimpses of IIT Gandhinagar.
एक साल लगभग
इतना बड़ा रिंग बना था वहां पर जब हमने काट के बनाया था पतले पतले स्ट्रिप से. Next slide, please. That's all from my end. Thank you so much for patiently listening to me. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sorali ma'am.
Thank you so much, Anand sir and Shireen ma'am. This was a like a fantastic session. We all have enjoyed it. Thank you so much. और बहुत अच्छा था एक्चुअली. आप जो स्टार्टिंग में थोड़ा सा डर रहे थे, अभी सेशन में बिल्कुल ऐसा नहीं लगा. आपने बहुत अच्छा किया है.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much,
Aarti
Anand
ma'am,
sir, and thank you so much, Shireen ma'am. It would be great if you could share the pictures where we have materials listed to create the small experiment kit, along with the A4 size observation sheets, the laminated sheets, which could be reused in all the classes. It would be very helpful. Do we have that ready?
We'll share that.
Okay. And it's very interesting, and otherwise also giving an observation sheet to students for small experiments. It's a very good practice across all grades, where children could actually note down their observations, reflect on it, and infer data and their understanding from their observation. Thank you so much for conducting this session. I hope we are going to take these experiments and these small activities in the classroom. Looking forward to see some implementation in other campuses also.
Sure.
Yes, ma'am, sure. And thank you so much for the opportunity for the presentation.
Thank you. Thank you.
I would like to
So that-
request every campus to, if you want to have like a hands-on session, please invite Anand sir, Shireen ma'am to your campus. And, we would love to see these activities in the classroom. And it will be very, very interesting. I think Poonam ma'am was messaging. If I had a maths teacher like this, then it would be very interesting. So let's give that maths teacher to every child in our campuses.
Thank you, sir.
Well done, Shireen ma'am, Anand sir. Thank you, Swarali, Aarti, for organizing this. Wishing everybody a Merry Christmas and a very, very Happy New Year. This was a fantastic end to the year, this CC Friday. Well done, everyone.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, and it was last session of last CC Friday of this year. Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Feedback form link I'm sharing here in the chat box. Please give your feedback. Yeah. Are you able to see this?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
are you able to open it? This is my next question. Because most of the time it happens.
Yes, ma'am.
Tripti ma'am, you need to join by using your laptop. If you're on your mobile, it will not open.
Okay, before we leave we end the session, please note that this is the last month for the academic for the PDCell calendar. So please complete all your training history cards on EduNext. It's very important because we start a new session for PDCell from January 2026, as we do every year. It starts from the month of January. So this is the last month. Kindly complete it by the end of the week. This is going to, Swarali, can you give a date when you are compiling the data? I think she has already compiled and she's waiting.